ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गम गणपते नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डाय विच्चे। ओम सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु महालक्ष्मीरूपेण संस्थिता। नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ओम ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं नमो नमः। ओम ऐं स्वाहा ह्रीं स्वाहा क्लीं स्वाहा। ओम क्लीं 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 स्वाहा। ओम श्री हनुमते नमः। Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to Daily Satsang, Nitya Satsang. Today is the 12th of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anantagodi Namaskar, Anantagodi Pranams, Anantagodi Danvat, Anantagodi Pradikshana, Anantagodi infinite number of divine roses and flowers offered at the feet of all the great sages, and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing to examine Ishta Bhakti, Ishta Devata, Bhagwan ki jo bhakti hai, to become solidified in the path of devotion, where that devotion, that bhakti is towards chosen deity, the chosen one Swarup that is chosen from inside. It's coming from inside. It is intrinsic from inside. And then that beautiful, heightened connection, relationship develops. Just as when a young couple, let's say 22 years old, they get married. They date first and they get to know each other, they get engagement, and then marriage. It's just like that. Bhagwan ke saath, first you have to have parichay, we have to understand the different forms of God, the scriptures, stotras, mantras. We've talked about those things before. That is just the very beginning. Then there's an attraction towards one Swarup. This is really the one I want to focus on. I feel it from inside. Iske saath, unke saath. Bhagwan to ek hi hai, there's only one tattva, but we need an access point. So, because the depth of a relationship cannot be developed with multiple Swarup. It's like this: if a person says, I don't want to get married, I just want to have deep relationship with 100 women, or one woman wants to have deep relationship with 100 men. Is it possible? Even if you try to do something like that, it's not possible. That depth won't be there. There could be contact of different kinds, but not the internal depth. That is the whole point of Ishta Bhakti. The internal depth, of course, without fanaticism and Kattarvad, I have to keep saying that because that's a huge problem. But without that depth, let's put it this way, that depth of relationship in marriage is not there in any of the other previous engagements. Just getting to know someone, meeting somebody at a party, talking to somebody, maybe even getting engaged. But once you sign that marriage certificate in the court and there's a formal marriage ceremony, that changes the whole ball game. That's why many people don't want to get married. They even live together. But if they get married, there are legal things that come into the picture. It changes the whole dynamic once there's that formal stamp of marriage. I have known people over the years. They say, they stay together for 10 years. So they don't want to get married. They say, if you get married, that'll ruin the relationship. In this worldly life, it's like that. But it's not like that in the spiritual life. There's a difference between this ego-driven, worldly, sansaric life versus that param tattva. Bhagwan ke saath jab bandhan hota hai, that becomes param mukti. Ye sansar ke saath jab bandhan hota hai, that becomes param bandhani. It's a further drowning. Already binding is there, now you drown further inside the mud. See, that's a big difference. The sansar is not a place to be bound in at all. Not in the least. It is a place for seva, for development, for prem, not bandhan. Bandhan means binding, bondage. But we have mistaken. We think that binding is the prem. It's not. Binding is ahankar, and then we suffer, cry and shout and scream, and God knows what else we do. How is that prem? Prem ki baat bahut alag hai. and to even understand that intellectually and to get a glimpse of that, Bhagavan ki bhakti. Bhakti means love only. But what kind of love is that? It is love. It is not a kind of love. It is absolute love. It is love that doesn't have any kind of distortion or the prism effect of the three gunas of Maya. So if Sachin says, I love my father, I love my mother, I love my this relative, that relative, we use that word love. It could be, there could really be real love. But there's no I present there. If the moment, language-wise we may say I, but there's no ahankar, me, that I am loving you. That's when I say I love you and there's an I and there's a you, that's not love. This expression itself is a very toxic and damaged expression. I love you. It's a totally wrong expression. You have to change that. It's called prema is not I love you. Prema is there is only prem, love, within which, inside of that prem, we exist. We exist together. See, there's no I in you. This expression, I love you, is a toxic, distorted, and damaging expression. People don't understand these things, how languages affect, because this language is created from Agnan. It's created from the people who are bound. How are they going to create something that is actually beyond Maya? This is why Sanskrit language is necessary. This is why the accuracy of words is necessary. This is why the word bhakti is there. To see the difference between the word bhakti and asakti. In Gujarati, the word is asakti, maybe asakta banjana, Hindi maybe Marathi also, I don't know. Could be in other languages too, but there's a difference, right? The language is very accurate. In the English language, we use this word, throw it around in 1,000 places. It's lost its meaning. It means nothing. What it means even? The Bhagavan ki jo bhakti hai, Bhagavan is that prem only. So that prem is inside. And when we are establishing the connection through bhajan, kirtans, stotras, guru krupa, shastras, everything, all these things, right? When you combine this together, the connection develops. This is called marriage. So Ishtadev, if Sachin says, this is my Ishtadev, Krishna is my Ishtadev, Shiva is my Ishtadev, there is only one. There is only one. There cannot be two. Because then the mind will be split. The upasanas are different, the paths are also different, the stotras, mantras are different. It's a link, right? It's a complete link. For example, if Shiv upasana is to be done, then Shiv mantras and Shiv Puran and 19% or more of sadhana has to be oriented around Bhagwan Shankar. That is how the Ishta Bhakti grows. It grows tremendously from inside. With Pujya Bhav for all the other forms of God. With devotion towards them also, Pujan, Archan, Manan, Chintan, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. नमस्कार करो, पूजन करो उनका, उनके भी भजन गाओ, उनके भी मंदिरों में जाना. Obviously. And also, not only that, but the more advanced vision is that if I am a devotee of Shiv and I have see the Murti of Krishna, I would only say this is only Shiv in this form. Shiv ke alag kuch hai hi nahi. He only sees Shiv. This happened in the case of Tulsidas Ji. Tulsidas Ji is a devotee of Bhagwan Ramchandra Ji. He went to Vrindavan in the mandir of Baki Bihari Ji ka mandir hai wahan. कहाँ कहूँ छवि आपकी जहाँ बिराजो नाथ तुलसी मस्तक तब न में जब धनुष बाण लियो हाथ. Very famous statement quoted by so many. So he's had the darshan of, saw the Murti of Krishna. So how beautiful the Murti is. But I will bow down to you when you give me darshan as Ramchandra Ji. Then Bhagwan changed the form. He said, you want to see me as Ram? Okay, I see you, show you as Ram. This is called Swarup Nishtha. Don't misunderstand these kinds of, people have taken these incidences and then, see, our problem is our ahankar is such a toxic, terrible thing. This incident from Tulsidas Ji sometimes has been used by certain people To say, mere to Ishta Krishna hai, so I'm not going to take the name of Shiv. I'm Ishta Shiv hai, so I'm not going to go to the Ram Mandir. Kitni nonsense baat hai ye sab. This is not spirituality. And it's a misunderstanding of Ishta Bhakti. Sometimes when we are driving the car, we see churches, people from Hindu community, so-called Hindu community, Indian community. So church ka darshan karte just like we do mandir ka darshan. Kya bhed hai? Why we have all this difference inside of us? See, that eliminating the difference is bhakti. That is what the Upanishad is teaching. So this is the combination. Ishta Bhakti really solidifies when we really accept and feel with bhav that my Ishta is present in all holy places, in all people, in all things, in all places, at all times. Then that is Ishta Bhakti. Otherwise it is fanaticism, it is kattarvad, it is narrow-mindedness. It is that narrow-mindedness may be there in the beginning. It's balak buddhi, जिसको बाल बुद्धि कहते हैं. इसमें से बहुत डैमेज हुआ है in the Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma का डैमेज बहुत people have done, including the people in the Sanatan Dharma, by this kind of stuff. Because of not understanding the Upanishads, not understanding what the Gita is teaching, not understanding, it's not just understanding, it is our ego only, nothing other than that. And because the tradition is so diverse, it's not a centralized tradition around just one avatar. ऐसा नहीं है एक संत का और एक अवतार का एक ही पुस्तक, ऐसा तो है नहीं. Yeah, maybe the one common factor is Omkar. Maybe that's the only real common factor. Otherwise, everything is different. 4 Vedas are different. The Upanishads are so many, 108 Upanishads are there. So everything has its own glory. Kitni Sant Parampara. It's such a vast and extraordinary tradition, but that tradition is unified. Where is it unified? Inside of us. That unity is ekatva. Unitive consciousness. Then that unitive consciousness is love. And that unitive consciousness opens up by intense relationship with Ishta Bhakti. Okay, let's use a worldly example. The young couple gets married. They really are dedicated to each other. The 22-year-old young man, 22-year-old young female, they love each other so much. Because they love each other so much, both sides of the family, when they meet, there's so much love and respect, it just grows. Of course, their relationship is special. They have an intimacy relationship. They have a very personal, the barrier goes away. See, this is the whole point. When two people really become close, this is the beauty of grahasthashram, married life. हमारे जीवन में तो अनुभव नहीं है इसका, पर आपके जीवन में होगा. This is from what I have understood, studied, and met with so many people. And this is true also. Where, how they say in the English language, when it really works between two people, there's nothing like that, right? You may have heard that expression. It should really work between. How often does it happen? It can happen. It can happen. When the closeness is so much between let's use heterosexual couple, husband and wife, itna closeness aa jata hai that the barrier, there's no secrets. My goodness. Most people live an outer life and a secret inner life. Even in the family, even in the marriage. But when husband-wife relationship, or partners in general sense, husband-wife, just using that as an example, husband-wife relationship has no barrier left. Transparency. As I am, everything that I am, the other person must be willing to accept all the deficiencies. And that is called love. Sometimes people, they don't want to tell everything about themselves, what they did before the marriage. They say, I'll ruin my marriage if I tell how many relationships, this happened, that happened. Be careful, only tell certain things. But it's only when both individuals completely open themselves in love and affection and acceptance of what is there. It's not easy. Kitni difficult baat hai ye. कोई कर सकता है? करके देखो क्या होता है. You have to be careful because the other person is not ready for that. They're living in their own egotistical dimension. They got married because they want something from you, not to give something to you. That is not marriage. That is an ego-driven, self-centered activity. इसको लगन नहीं कहते, इसको एक व्यवहार कहते हैं. Bhagavan is the only tattva, and that same tattva, if we access that tattva, we will become like that, where we are completely accepting of the other person just as they are. Everything, accepting completely as they are. Are we ready to do that with anybody? Only Paramatma, Bhagwan, or Bhagwan ke jo bade sant hai, they accept everybody completely as they are. क्या बात है. What a quality. इस पर ध्यान. आज की साधना यही साधना है, मेरे लिए, आपके लिए, सबके लिए. Are we ready to accept even one human being as they are, just as they are, without throwing trash on their head, or without getting overwhelmed by their difficulties or problems or past or whatever it is? See, what is love after all? Love means acceptance, unconditional acceptance. I accept you exactly as you are, completely as you are. वो भगवान का गुण है, वो दैवी गुण है. और भगवान के जो बड़े बड़े संत है, particularly, उनके पास ये क्वालिटी है. बाकी नॉर्मल मनुष्य, नॉर्मल, फर्स्ट ऑफ मनुष्य नॉर्मल है नहीं, first of all, it's abnormal mostly. And human beings are stuck in business transaction. You know, when you try to get married, they create so many biodata. All these 15 criteria should be there. This person should be this way, their family should be this way, their background should be this way, then this should, all of this, then I will marry you. This is called love? Take the biodata and all this nonsense. Sit with somebody and say, we love each other, just nothing else. Okay, is it a shopping list? क्या प्रेम, किस प्रकार का प्रेम? No wonder divorce rates are so high and whatnot. People are trying to meet those criteria, and one thing is off somewhere and the problems begin. Such nonsense. Bhakti kya hai? What is bhakti? Bhakti has to begin, like in couple relationship, but in any relationship, keep bhakti in the center. Bhagwan ki bhakti. Then the relationship becomes beautiful. A simple reason is the qualities come of acceptance. Don't expect perfection from anybody. Accept. Bhagwan is already perfect. और भगवान के जो बहुत बड़े संत है, जिसको ब्रह्म स्वरूप संत कहते हैं, yes, and they are born perfect also. उनके साथ आप you can link your heart with them. They are born as an incarnation or perfected being. They are not made perfect. You can respect them. They have become perfected, respect them, love them, everything is okay. But don't get attached because they were in imperfection before. Shikshapatri में बहुत clear आज्ञा है on this point. But if a saint is born perfect, no problem. उनके साथ आप link कर सकते. Not anybody else. सबको respect कीजिए. Learn from everybody. Don't give your heart to just anybody. Is it possible? This is bhakti. Bhakti towards Ishta Devata is filled with intense love. The love grows. Because there is orientation of three types. I'm going to give you 3 words here. There's integration inside. Integration, transcendence, and coherence. 3 words, if you're taking notes. Hopefully you are. Our entire inner space with the physical body gets integrated. Integrated means what? That there is no more pain, damage, fear, hatred, negativity. All those things are gone. Because we have become Purna. This is what the Upanishad is teaching us. Purna Sthiti. Purna. The word Purna, Purna. Purna means whole. Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. The Upanishad from Ishavasya Upanishad. Purna. Bhagavan Purna hai. Purna, Sampurna, total. So integration means we are in a state where first of all, there is acceptance and acknowledgement of what's really going on. Even if it's negative stuff, negative, positive, jo bhi hai, see it completely what it is. This is the beautiful teachings of J. Krishnamurti. बहुत महान पुरुष हो गए वो, not any ordinary person. And he has given us a beautiful concept. It's not a concept, it is a vision. It is called choiceless awareness. If you're writing this down, please write this down. Choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness means seeing myself and my experiences and everything that is happening without distortion, without trying to change it. It's called awareness. Even if anger is there, different kind of emotions are there, whatever is going on, see it, perceive its nature. Don't try to do something to that immediately. Be aware of it. That is called choiceless awareness. It's a very big thing actually. Maybe sometime in other formats maybe we can talk about that. But that awareness grows, in Sachin's humble opinion, from bhakti. भगवान की जो भक्ति है, जो हम करेंगे, if we do it regularly, consistently, setting up the meditation room, all the things we've already talked about, then we will be so aware. Some of you have made these comments also. Oh, I can see I'm getting deflected. This is happening. That's happening. That is all Maya. Everything that we are experiencing other than divine love is Maya. ये एक सूत्र है. Look at Narad Bhakti Sutra. Because of the timing, we don't have time. We don't have 7 hours to do this every day. Otherwise, I would have gone through a little bit at a time. We'll do it. I do want to go back into that. Narad ji has written Bhakti Sutra hai. Unke Narad Bhakti Sutra. कितनी सुंदर बात है. It's so beautiful, that there is Divya Prem. Prem is Divya. How can there be Prem that is not divine? How is that even possible? Sab Divyata hi hai. Even in the realm of Prakriti. Now this is what's interesting. We tend to think of divine as something just transcendental. But it's not just, it is transcendental, no doubt. It's beyond Maya, no doubt. But it is also in Maya. I mean, this is a more difficult part to understand. It's a much, much more difficult part because the experience of what we call Maya, Maya के जितने अनुभव है, Maya के नीचे, Mahamaya के नीचे, those experiences are due to the presence of God. Dhyan rakhna on this point very clearly. If you have questions, please do ask. We have time today. Be happy to, at 9 o'clock, you can put your comments, questions, reflections. Bahut dhyan rakhna on this point. Think of it this way. Think of just like a line. You know, they make a line in your mind. Above that line, or above that, like a plane, not an airplane, but like a geometric, two-dimensional plane going in infinite. It has just length and width without any boundary. Above that is Brahman, Akshardham. Below that is Sab Maya ka Vistar. Just very simple. Just or you can make a line like that if you want on a sheet of paper, but it's really like a plane, like a two-dimensional plane. PLAN, like a plane, like in geometry you have with undefined term kind of. There's no height or there's no depth in that. There's just a plane. And above that is Brahman, and below that is all of the expression of Maya. And what is that barrier? That is Mahamaya. So the experiences that we have through the body, through the mind, through the senses, it is all underneath Mahamaya. But those experiences we have with our five senses, with people, with places, with everything we have, those experiences are due to the presence of परम तत्व, भगवत तत्व, भगवान का presence इसमें है, सब जगह है वो. If God's presence is not there inside all of the activity of Maya, the Maya cannot become active. There would not be any experience, there would not be any activity, there would not be anything. This is why Ramakrishna Paramahansa beautifully stated, Brahma Shakti Abhed. Abhed means they're one. Shakti is the dynamic power. So in our lives, when we are interacting with the world of names and forms, we've already talked about it before a little bit, about the range of the Panch Vishayas. We understand these things. The experiences are definitely real. There's no doubt about that. There's no question about that. We like certain experiences, we don't like certain experiences. Yes. Even that process, that fact that I like roses, but I don't like these flowers. I like these flowers more than this flower. That is part of Prakriti. Even the color red is different from the color blue. The color blue is different from the color white. They're not all the same, but they're all light only. Light is being reflected. That is Brahman. But the different colors, that is the power of Prakriti. For example, you take the different colors, right? Blue, white, red, purple, green. Don't they have their own flavor, their own anubhav? It's called qualia, Qualia. It's green is green. Green is not blue. You can mix them and all that. Painters and all that, they do that. This is the power of Maya. And it has to be respected. This is another problem. We say Maya ko chhod dena. This is another wrong concept. It's not about letting go of Maya. It is about respecting Maya. People say, I want to let go of Maya. Sab chhod de, let everything go. Family is Maya. This is Maya. Money is Maya. Purush is Maya. Stri is Maya. That is not Maya. Maya is not the problem. Maya to Bhagwan ki Shakti hai. Wo Daivi hai. Daivi esha gunamayi. Mama Maya. But why does it bind? Because we have lost the respect for it. Have you ever heard this before? I don't know. Maybe not. Has anybody ever heard respect Maya? Most people here get away from Maya. Go beyond Maya. Maya se par ho jana. Yeah, I also say that many times. True. It's not wrong. But it's not completely correct also. It is not completely correct. First of all, you cannot get away from Maya. There's no getting away from this body. So when we say I want to go beyond Maya, what does that mean actually? Running away somewhere? What is that? Going into some kind of a samadhi and just forgetting this world? Bhagwan Swaminarayan didn't give any importance to that nirvikalpa samadhi. As interesting as people are chasing after that nirvikalpa samadhi, Maharaj kehte iska koi kaam hi nahi hai. You know why that is? Because this life that we have been given here has a great purpose. Life is not here just to leave this world and go into samadhi. That's a selfishness. Ramakrishna Paramahansa said that to Vivekananda Swami. He said to Vivekananda Swami, you want to go into samadhi, how can you be so selfish? You should be like a great banyan tree where thousands and thousands of people are getting shade from you. What is the point of that nirvikalpa samadhi? Well, jab hoga, wo hoga. When the time comes to leave the body, why are you worried about that now? And that's the selfishness. See, Ramakrishna Paramahansa taught this. Bhagwan Swaminarayan taught this also. And we don't realize, people think samadhi is something extraordinary. We go out of this world and out of the sansara. And yes, true. It is there. Yogis and rishis have done that. But they always have to come back into the world and serve the world. The world doesn't exist to just run away from the world. Bilkul nahi. It doesn't exist that way. It exists so we can respect the glory of Mahamaya. Kya extraordinary glory hai Mahamaya ki. It's not about discarding Maya or just trying to run away from Maya or disliking Maya or somehow trying to jump over Maya, which we cannot do anyway. It is about fundamental respect for the Shakti that is flowing inside the Brahmand and inside our body, inside the mind. This is Shakti. Daivi Shakti hai wo. And this is our problem. Humanity's problem is disrespect. The world is not the problem. The disrespect is the problem. And this is what Ishta Upasana teaches us. भगवान की जो उपासना है, whether it's राम जी की उपासना, कृष्ण की उपासना, शिव जी की उपासना, जो उपासना है, the qualities that open from inside, tremendous love and respect for all. It's a high vision. Even if the person next to us is shouting and screaming towards us, respect the Shakti that is having, that person has. Whose Shakti is the person using? That Param Tattva, that Parameshwari. And when our vision opens up this way to see that the Ishta is present there, even while that person is shouting and screaming and using foul language or whatever they're doing, that person cannot do that unless the presence of that Parameshwari is there. When we have that vision, even towards an individual who is doing this, this is called divinity. इसको कहते हैं दिव्य भाव. तो आनंद ही रहेगा जीवन में, और क्या रहेगा? And then we do our duty. We have to do our duty. Like Bhagwan Krishna said to the Arjun, all these people that you have to do your duty to fight this war. But I'm also in them. They're in me. I'm everywhere in everyone. And nobody ever dies. Natve vaham jatunasam natve. He said, there's no destruction of anybody. Bodies come and go, not the Atma Chaitanyam. What an extraordinary technology to live in the sansar of Prakriti, in the three gunas of Maya, recognizing the way they function, but keep that Brahma Vidya, that higher vision open, that behind the names and forms, through the names and forms, etc., there is the one tattva that is playing around inside there. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. Bhagwan kehte hai Gita ji mein. I'm present in all. I don't have any attraction or repulsion towards anybody. But those who are my devotees, this is where the Ishta Upasana comes in. जो भगवान के जो भक्त बन जाते हैं, भगवान कृष्ण कहते हैं, I am in them and they are in me. So what? He's not in everybody? He's in everybody, but as a witness. They don't have actual connection. There's a connection in terms of presence, but not in terms of the actual real connection. You know, sometimes people carry around these pictures of these actresses, right? They hang them up in their home and all that. Yes. Is that a real connection with that actress? It's something like that. It's something like that. God is present, but it's like a picture. You know, it's like that. Real connection, baat alag. Is only through bhakti. That's what this verse means. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. Kisi ka saath dvesh de raha. Just like that picture. You can talk to the picture of your favorite Bollywood actress and keep a big poster, and people do this kind of stuff. Is she going to talk to you? But that's what Krishna is saying. He said, I'm there, but samoham, I'm present in everyone, everywhere. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. In all beings. Bhut doesn't mean ghost, it means all beings. Name dveshosti na priyaha. किसी के साथ द्वेष नहीं, किसी के साथ प्रीति नहीं. It's like that picture of the actress. Does she have any priti? Or she's there somewhere actually, but you have to, if you want the real relationship, you have to find her actually, not that picture. Ye tu bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. That's the second part of the verse. When you start devotion, bhakti towards, now you'll come close. Now I'll reveal myself to you. That is the power. Bhakti में क्या होता है? भगवान का दर्शन होता है. भगवान का real connection होता है. Otherwise, God is sitting as कर्म फल प्रदाता. आत्मा के अंदर, सबके आत्मा के अंदर भगवान का वास है. As the giver of the fruit of the action. कर्म का फल वो देते हैं. Super duper computer. That is God. ध्यान रखना. भगवान क्या है? आत्मा में ही है. यस्य आत्मा शरीरम. वो जो भगवान जो धाम में है, इन गोलोक वैकुंठ अक्षर ब्रह्म, वो जो सब धाम है, अलौकिक धाम, वो same tattva is present in every single being. But to have contact with that tattva, with that Prabhu, bhakti. And that bhakti is naturally available for us because we have Shakti. And we already have glimpses of love inside our ego-driven activity. But those are just through the prism of love. Through the prism of ego. Once we eliminate the ahankar, let that ahankar go towards Paramatma, that same Shakti becomes Bhakti. And this Shakti that becomes Bhakti, what does it do? It creates an interface. It's like this. It's like right now I'm using a computer on Zoom. We are all connected together through Zoom, through the internet. All of our computers and phones and whatever we're using, it's all connected into this Zoom link. Isn't there a Zoom link? If you don't have if that one digit is even off, it will not connect. It is exactly like that. Zoom ka link hota hai na. 1,000 people can log on with that link and no problem. It is a link. We have to know what the link is. And what is that link? To understand, to actually link up with God, we have to have a link. Just like a Zoom link. So what is that link? 700 verses of the Gita. That is the link. Yes, absolutely. Santa Charitra, that is the link. And where does it link? It's an internal connection. It's an internal link. If we don't know how to link, for example, you may have a computer, everything is there, all the programs, the person doesn't have the jnana of how to use the computer, how to use Zoom, then you lose out on so much activity. That is the role of scriptures and gurus and teachers, is to show how to access a real link. Because not all links lead to the same place. If you want to access morning satsang, daily satsang, nitya satsang, as we all are doing, there is just one link for that. You want to access Angel Wing program, another link. Somebody else's program, some other link is there. Different links lead to different destinations, different experiences. Just like that, Bhagwan ke saath link karna hai. Sounds very nice. We have to understand what the link means, how to tap onto the link, and we have to have a device that can link in. Well, you know what that device is? Ourselves. If I didn't have this computer, how could I talk to you? Can I just, even if I know the link, I have it written down on a sheet of paper, is that going to connect me to Zoom? Like this printed Zoom link? I have to have a device. Then I can connect actually. Bhagavad Gita is printed, but it's got to be, it's outside of us initially. Once we bring it inside, now it becomes alive in the device. Zoom is alive in the computer right now, in all of our computers and our phones. If this Zoom link that you all tapped onto, and which I logged onto this morning, if it was just written on a piece of paper, iska kya kuch kaam hai? Can I access anything that way? Is the link real? Yes. I mean, is the information real? Yes. The Gita Ji ka information is there. Bhagavatam and other scriptures, Santavani, is all real. Koi kuch kaam ka nahi. Access hi nahi iska kuch. This is the problem. This is why we don't realize Bhagavan. Lots of pravachans, lots of talks, lots of secondary information, lots of books and YouTube videos. Is it good? It's good. Even when I send out an email or on the WhatsApp, this is the link. It's just a piece of information. It doesn't mean anything by itself. It has meaning if you understand what it is and then know how to click on that. Iska mahima, then you can enter into the Zoom meeting. Want to enter into the abode of God? We must know, first of all, to recognize the link, then to click on the link. Clicking on the link is to study the verses of the Gita, scriptures, shastras. Depth mein study karna. That is clicking on the link. And then the access, wo Bhagwan open karti na, like we have waiting room. Yes, you can click on the link. It says now you're in the waiting room. You cannot, if the waiting room is enabled, you cannot go inside the Zoom session until the host opens the door to allow everybody inside. Bhagwan ke haath mein wo chabi hai. Nobody else. We cannot enter into the kingdom of God, into the abode of God, Bhagwan ke dham, by our own egotistical driven sadhanas. It's not going to happen. It happens by Guru Krupa. Krupa means what? Guru Krupa is nothing but Bhagavad Krupa. वो देखते हैं कि are you ready? कितनी तैयारी है? This is what you really want? You really want to come into the divine light, into the divine abode? मेरे पास आना है? आ जाओ. अज्ञान में रहना है, अहंकार में रहना है, stay there. That's that line. It's that plane. महामाया के नीचे लेना है, महामाया के you want to go into the dham. Mahamaya, वो तो शक्ति है. How are we using? Now, it's very interesting. We have a body, we have a mind, senses, everything we have. We are going to live in this world. We're not going to sitting in some cave somewhere. जगत में ही रहना है, पर कैसे रहना? कैसी शक्ति use करना? That is the decision to be made. What is the experience? Obviously, if I see a rose flower and say, this is a beautiful flower, is it to deny that beauty? Of course not. But to recognize that the source of the beauty is not in the flower, it's inside of me. And not the me, the ego, it is the Paramatma that is inside. It's reflected from inside, reflected consciousness, pratibhasika satyam. Three layers. I think I did send out information on this sometime, maybe last year. There's a lot of good material on this. Paramarthika satyam, pratibhasika satyam, vyavharika satyam. When I see a beautiful flower, ye kya hai? Pratibhasika satyam. Vedantic masters have, what language they have used to pinpoint what is going on. That this is a reflection of the beauty inside of who you are. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Pratibhasika satyam. Reflected consciousness. If Sachin says this is a beautiful flower, beautiful sunset, beautiful murti of God, at the level of the mind, it is a reflection. Because that beauty, that saundarya, is the undiluted, non-fragmented, non-divisive Shakti inside. That non-fragmented, non-divisive, absolutely non-polluted, pure, pristine Shakti. That Shakti is Saundarya. And that Shakti is a thought of God. वो भगवान का मन है, भगवान के विचार है वो. किसकी तैयारी है? If these truths, not because of Sachin, forget Sachin is out of the picture. This is just a body here. These things are being expressed. That's all. ध्यान रखना इस पर, अनुभव करना. And see the magic that happens. चमत्कार. People say, I want to see चमत्कार. चमत्कार देखना है जीवन में. यही biggest चमत्कार is this. We transform out of our अज्ञान और भगवान के साथ अखंड प्रेम. And then with that, with everyone, if we say we love God, how can we not love everybody? Loving God is not just in one place somewhere. God is present everywhere. Prem doesn't have any boundary. It has absolutely no boundary. And I'll just close with this. That beautiful quality, accepting others just as they are. ये बड़े बड़े संतों का गुण है. बड़े हम इसे बड़े संत, महान संत, ब्रह्म स्वरूप संत, ऐसे सब वडवान अग्नि जेवा मोटा पुरुष in Gujarati, वचनामृत की language है. This sounds all very nice, you know. ये स्थिति की बात है. They have body like we have body. They don't have 15 heads and 30 arms. They have body like we have. पर इनकी आंतरिक स्थिति में बहुत फर्क है. That is where the difference is. संत की स्थिति. Different words, rishi hai, sadguru, sant, sadhu, all these different words, there's some distinctions among all that. We won't go into that right now. To accept others unconditionally, and that is love. That is the prem of a mother. Mother has children. As soon as the mother has a child, even before having the child, there's a connection. And then once the child is actually, the physical body is born out of the womb, prem kaisa hota hai towards children? Those of you who have kids, you know better than I do. निस्वार्थ, कोई स्वार्थ की बुद्धि नहीं. वो भगवान की शक्ति है. भगवान की शक्ति is present in our day-to-day life actually. We have glimpses of egoless love. We have it all the time. We have glimpses, definitely. Particularly parents and young-born. And then when the kids grow up and all, then the battles begin. All the problems happen later on. Because ahankar, there's a lot of reasons behind that. But that purified, undifferentiated love, we get a glimpse of it. Bhagwan always gives us a glimpse of himself, herself. Always. These are glimpses. Beautiful landscapes, beautiful flowers, very, very nicely laid out rows of cars, let's say, or rows of clothing. You say, wow. You go to the top-notch mall, like King of Prussia Mall or something like that. Wow, amazing. They have made everything so wonderful. You go to the food courts and everything is laid out. Ye sab kya hai? That is only power of Paramatma. It's nothing other. It does not exist independent of Bhagavan. Its existence is because of Paramatma. If we're saying that these cars and clothing and people and mountains and this and that and rainbows and flowers and Niagara Falls and whatever, it's so beautiful. How beautiful God must be. From whom this has come, within whom this is present. Anubhav ka prashna hai. Bhakti. Want to touch that param saundarya tattva. Bhagwan ki bhakti. Aur shakti ka nash band kar dijiye. That is the absolute master key. Stop damaging internal shakti. We talked in our whole angel wing program is about this. Totally stop kar dijiye isko. Wherever it is being damaged, we know it. Our ego has only one thing that it wants to do other than the functional part. It wants to damage shakti. It doesn't want to do anything other than that. इसी को ही अहंकार कहते हैं, इसी को ही राक्षस कहते हैं, इसी को ही असुर कहते हैं. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It wants to damage and eat up antar ki shakti. Don't allow. That's what causes depression, anxiety, fear, guilt, blame, shame. ये सब problems क्या है? ये सब अहंकार के ही problem है. Mostly, that's what they are. Drop that thing and reclaim your own power. Mantra, Bhagwan ki mantra karna. Yes, do mantras, lots of mantras karna, mantra jap. And then notice where, if energy is going in, our manovritti, Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti, it's going in scattered ways. Oh, why is it going there? If it's going there and it's going to cause problems for me, I'm not going to let that go there. No. So Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Swarupini, Devi ka naam hai. Lalita Sahasra, I mentioned it many times. It's stayed in my heart many times. Just has stayed with me over the years. Is par manan kijiye. Gnan Shakti we have, Ichha Shakti we have, Kriya Shakti. We've talked about it a lot already. Not a lot, but to some extent. Do not damage it. And in fact, take that Gnan, Kriya, Ichha Shakti and bring it together, integrate it together, coherence. Those three are an interface. It is an interface. It's like you're linking, you're pushing that Zoom link, and it's an interface. And Bhagwan dekhte hai ki kaun waiting room mein hai. God's waiting room. Think of it. We have these Zoom waiting rooms. That's an interesting analogy. It's just like that. भगवान देखते मेरे waiting room में कौन कौन है? He's done everything. Has pushed on the link. Now भगवान देखते absolutely you're ready to go. But by mistake some wrong person comes, you're not allowed inside. वो आ ही नहीं सकते in that waiting room. First of all, it's like that. If you don't have the link that Sachin sent you here, how anybody can access this thing? We have to have the right link that connects with Paramatma. Not just any old link. The correct link has to be there. Then you enter the waiting room. And then Bhagwan dekhte, waiting room mein aa gaye, aa jao. He has to let you in. Knock and the door shall be open. You can knock. Jesus is saying you knock. But you cannot open the door yourself. The God is open it for you. सत्संग में कहते हैं ना, स्वामीनारायण भगवान का जो सत्संग है उसमें कहते हैं भगवान कृपा साध्य छे, साधन साध्य નથી. God is realized by grace. મોક્ષના દાતા ભગવાન અને મોટા સંત છે. Who is the giver of mukti? It's the giver of liberation. Liberation is not by our efforts. Our efforts are our efforts take us up to the point of the waiting room. But then the entry into the session, into the abode of God, that is grace. That is mukti. Extraordinary stuff. बस आप सबको I just want to offer respects to all of you, and we'll continue on this journey further tomorrow. Lots of amazing things to still continue to talk about on this from different perspectives, so that our journey can be unobstructed. Lots of good prayers to all the great sages. उनका सबका आशीर्वाद हम मांगते हैं. We are just children on this path. That's all. Unka Ashirwad, they are so much beyond. They're so great. So we take the dust of their holy feet, place on our forehead. Bhagwan Shankar, Bhagwan Krishna, sab avtaron ke charanon mein prarthna. And with that, we'll stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvadaumai Mrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Sarva Mangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namostute Shri Radha Krishna Namo Namah Om Rim Swaha.